Hello once again. Hey, it's Dan here in Virginia. I'm continuing with my Sky Ranger 40 build. I finally got the wing completed. So here she is. It's taken me, gosh, I don't know, probably 24 hours just to build this wing. But it's a very stout wing. It has a slight dihedral in it, if you can see it or not. But the last phase you have to do is you have to build a spar that goes from here all the way through here into here, and it's built out of a piece of light ply that establishes the angle. Then on both sides of that spar you have balsa wood, so you glue that onto the spar and glue that on the spar, and then you have to take each individual half and you have to sand that spar until you can fit it all the way from here to there, and then do the same with this other side. It's a very time-consuming, tedious process, but she fit like a glove. And then you have to make sure these two faces fit together perfectly before you finally put epoxy glue. And you can see, as try as I might, there's a little bit of space at the tip right here, but I'm using Bob Smith epoxy, so you have to get these even and get them together, and then you have to clamp it this way. You have to take a clamp here and a clamp here. It pays to be a woodworker. Most modelers don't have the amount of clamps that I have. I have a clamp for every occasion, so a woodworker or a modeler can never have too many clamps. So anyway, it's coming out pretty good. I've installed these strings ahead of time. These strings will allow you to pull the wire. The servo goes here and you pull the wire through. So I decided to not go cheap on the servos. I'm going with a high-tech, high-speed, I guess 225 Metal Gear Mighty Mini servo. I got 4 of these online. I swear they're pretty pricey. I swear I paid $130 or $135 for 4 of them. So, but high-techs are probably the best you can get. I don't know of any better, but that's the limit of my budget. So anyway, those high-tech servos, they're really pretty cool. This arm that I'm using, this arm actually has splines on it, so you could move this arm in and out if you want. I've got it at the fully extended position. And these more expensive servos come with these little rubber bumpers. There's 4 of them, 2 on each end, and then they come with these little brass ferrules. And I went and did some more research. You know, I've got my doctorate degrees from YouTube University. If you watch 10,000 videos, they give you a doctorate degree from YouTube University. So since I've got that, just joking, I went on here, and these little brass ferrules, I've installed them before. I put them down this way with the ferrule on top, but I went online and looked around, and I don't know why I didn't explain it, but they said you put the brass ferrule on the bottom. They go up through. So this servo will go in this pocket like this. Go down in here, and I had to measure and fit these little blocks yesterday, fiddle around measuring and gluing them. So this is perfectly in the center, and then you put screws. You put your screws down here. They give you nice screws with flange head screws, and then in addition to that, I will be putting some foam tack right there, so this thing won't go anywhere. I was a little amazed yesterday. I forgot to account for the thickness of this rubber washer here when I put these on the block. So I literally had to break these little blocks off, had to break them off and move them down just a little bit. Well, this doesn't look like it'd be a very good joint because it's end grain and just standing on end, a big pedestal, but I could not break this. I had one done, I couldn't break it off with my hand, so I had to get a big pair of vice grips and snap it off. So This is really good joint, but I don't use CA or anything else. I use good old Titebond 2. Being a woodworker, I use woodworking glue to hold those on there. So those will probably never come off. I can't imagine. Plus, if you put foam tack in here, that'll hold forever. So that's where I'm at so far. This, again, like I said, this will go right in here like this. The flange head screws will be 4 flange head screws that will go down through here. Screw that in, down in here, and then there'll be foam tack in there. Press that in. I'm gonna cover these later this morning. Put the covering on these covers, but let me see. Flip this over. Put the good old bean bag here so it doesn't. But these Servo Pockets are, let's see, leading edge, right wing. Leading edge to the right wing, that'll be this edge. These will go just like this. I think I'm going to modify the plan a little bit. This goes in here like this. And the servo, of course, will be sticking up through. There's a little step right here. I know you probably can't see it in the video. Right here, there's a little step. I think I'm going to cut another piece of wood and another piece of wood here so that it will bring this up flush. This will all be flush. So when I cover it, it'll be perfect. So that's about it for now. Just keep on keeping on. I got this epoxy is a little rough. I'm gonna have to sand that, and believe me, it's a little hard to sand. It's I'll tell you what though, if easy thing I use this big old, I think it's made by 3M. You buy these rolls of sandpaper, emery paper, and you just roll them out. They wear down, you roll them out. I use this all the time. It's got a radius, and this is I think it's, I forget what I use, something pretty rough grit to get these shaped down. Oh, here's the ailerons. The ailerons come and they're all squared off, so you have to take this square edge and you got to either sand it, but I like to do a good old trick with this is a razor sharp Stanley 3/4 inch chisel. I like to get this going like this and just pair, like they call it paring, and you can just see the wood curl right off there. Balsa wood is so good to work with, but you got to make sure you're going, test it with the grain. If you're not careful, the grain dips down, you'll get going and you'll gouge it too deep. So you take light passes, get the corners rounded off, and then I take the sanding block and finish rounding them off. And she comes out real smooth. Had some saw marks on the one side. I sanded them out, and then you mark it where the hinges are going to go. And she goes on the end like this, just about like that. There'll be four hinges, and they're CA hinges. I'm going to try. That's what they came with the kit, so I'm going to use them. They really don't have a hinge pin. They're just flexible in the hinge place. So they'll go on there like that. And she's coming along just fine. So more hours, but she should be a beauty. I hope. Whoa, there she comes. There's that plate. So anyway, so far so good. I'm going to cover these servo covers. In fact, I think I'm going to cover them this morning. I'm going to use white for the top, for the wings. I'm not sure about the fuselage yet, but the covering I'm using is from Hobby King. It's good old China coat. They joke about it being from China. So far so good. That's about it for now. If you're building something, I hope you're having a good time as I am. So out here, be safe.